Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nur Maulana Shah Karim Hussaini Hazriman. Ya Maula Meherban. We have gathered here, Maula, to learn this pearls of knowledge, Maula, which you give us in your Faramin, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, be the light on the tongue of this Nachiz, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Mushkil Kusha Meherban, Maula. We seek your help, Maula. We seek your mercy, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, please be with us, Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, मदद फरमा मदद फरमा अल-हय्युल क़य्यूम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला व निअमन नसीर हस्बुनल्लाह व निअमल वकील व निअमल मौला ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Yeah, Ali Madad to our friends. Today we begin with the same Farman, Farman number 17th, Munjawari, December 28th, 1893. And we had discussed two paragraphs. And I have received a question too, so inshallah we'll discuss that. And then we will begin with the third paragraph. So let us recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadi wa ali Muhammad. કોઈનું ઉછીને લઈને પાછું આપી દેજો અને ચોકસી રાખજો કે પારકું માલ ખાધામાં ના આવે તો તેનું ગુના નથી. આ પણ સારું નથી કે બીજાને મોટા ગુના થાય. વળી એવું કામ ના કરવું કે જેથી આપણની કોઈ નિંદા કરે. So in this paragraph, again, Imam is teaching us about ethics, and somehow money becomes the very big power in taking people or follow shaitan, because money is very powerful in the world, right? So Imam is teaching us all related important points, taking the context of money. But whenever we talk about money, we do know that earning is at 3 levels. So we always have to keep that reflection in our mind to be able to understand the deeper meaning which are within the farmans. Imam here is talking about that if you were to borrow money from somebody, you ask somebody to borrow money and then you have to return it. And Imam is saying that, be very vigilant, very careful, and do not make sure that you return that money. Do not end up eating that money. Especially Imam talks about that do not eat or use that money for your own self if it is others' money. Because Imam is emphasizing parko mal khadama na ave. Somebody else's money you do not use for yourself. And we do know that first right is of Imam. Whenever we talk about money, the first right on our earning is of Imam. We always first pay the son and then eat. So first is very important, and that is always we have to remember that the right of Imam. The son, this must and compulsory. There cannot be any mistakes or weakness in the son. First we pay the son and then only we eat. So that is first most important thing, because when we talk about borrowing money, our life is being borrowed from Imam, because Imam has given this life to us, this soul is his, but he gives it to us to live in this world, and we promise that yes, we are obedient to Imam. So first is the soul. Second level, of course, physically, if we borrow money from somebody because we are going through hardship or whatever it is, situation, and we have taken somebody else's money, we have to return it. In today's modern time, we have banks and we borrow loans and we have to return that money because we have borrowed somebody else's money. In today's time, you know, all those modern ways of borrowing money are there. Whoever money we take, if it is not our hard-earned money, we ought to return it. And then Imam says that if you do not do that, if you don't return that money, meaning you are again, you know, committing sins. And do not be doing that. Protect yourself from sinning. And then Imam is saying that do not behave in such a way that others would talk about you. Meaning that, you know, Imam is making sure that we remember ourselves, that we represent Imam as well. In other farmans of Hazrat Imam, Mullah has said that my mu'minins are my advocate. When we, in the worldly sense, borrow money from banks or anywhere, do businesses, and we have bad reputation because we have not returned money, or we have, you know, cheated in any ways, any means, have not kept our words, it reflects that we are smileys. It reflects on Imam that how smileys do business, how smileys, you know, return what they have borrowed. So Imam is saying that do not be in that situation that people are talking about you. Meaning, in this context, we understand ninda or backbiting, we have talked about it. But here, it is due to our actions, worldly, money-wise actions, that somebody would say, oh, this person, do not deal with that. This is smiley, do not deal with them because they are very, you know, deceitful. They never return the money. So be very, very vigilant that we carry an image, being smileys when we walk out and do businesses. But it applies to so many levels, and I hope that we are reflecting that when we borrow money, we have to return the money. It is not our hard-earned money, meaning whatever we eat or use for ourselves, it has to be earned by ourselves. So it is again emphasizing that ethics of, you know, doing things in a right way and not putting yourself into a situation when you are called being sinners. And Imam does not like that because it reflects on Imam. And we want our Imam to be proud on us, not being, you know, feeling bad that Smileys are doing such bad things that they are being talked about. આનું પણ તમે ધ્યાન રાખજો કે કોઈનો માલ ના ખાઈ જવાય. આ બાબતની ઠેકેદારી રાખવા છતાં કોઈ વખત શૈતાન મલૂમ ઇન્સાનને છેતરી જાય છે. Very interestingly, Imam is in this paragraph saying that you are very careful, very vigilant that you do not sin. Mu'minins are very vigilant. They do not want to commit sins. They will love Imam and they want Imam to be proud of them, and we want to become one with Imam. But Imam is actually talking about these, you know, different aspects, and Imam is saying that make sure that you understand all these aspects. Do, you know, be very careful. Take care of this too and this too. Anu par khayal rakjo. All these, you know, things Imam is talking about, and he's saying that pay attention to these things too, because this is, you know, ways of sinning. And when we are not careful, Shaitan is after us. He does want us to commit sins, because from one way or the other, he's very interested in taking away all our earnings, kamai. When we do ibadat, zikr, you know, girya azari, it is our earnings we are saving in our bank account for our akhirat. Shaitan will find ways and means to deceive us, to take away our earning. So if we were to have even a thought about cheating somebody, not returning somebody else's money, even that thought actually is an entry point for Shaitan to take away our money, take away our earning. So if our bank account is such that we are saving, we are saying our dua, paying dason, ibadat, learning knowledge, and we are saving in our account. But that saving account has a hole from behind, and Shaitan is removing everything. There will be no accumulation. Whatever we save, it is taken away. So Imam is actually going in such detail and saying that make sure that you take care of this too, because Shaitan is after you. So in such a detail, Imam is going and teaching us that from all aspects, take care of yourself and not be, committing sins. When we go to Jamaat Khana, pay the son, and, do zikr, we think that we are very pious and we are very, moments. And yes, we are. However, when we go into world and we look into how the world is doing business, and we say, this is the way businesses are done. This is how you survive. If you don't do this, how would you survive? If we follow that principle in this worldly matters, then we are not Mominis. We are saying, when I enter into Jamaat Khana, then I'm a Momin. When I come out, I'm a very worldly person. And Imam says there's no dichotomy between these two things. For Ismailis, his business, his work is also ibadat. So we have to be very honest. And when we are honest like that, worldly people think of us as fool. They think that, they are very honest, so they'll do like that. They'll be not, following this market strategy of cheating others and this and that. Let them say that, because they don't know what we are doing business on. We are doing business to earn for akhirat. When people don't understand and we become like worldly people, focusing only accumulating our money, increasing our money, then of course we become like others. And others are only trying to earn money for this world. A smiley moment, he or she is not in this world doing worldly business for this world only. Yes, we do earn in this world. We live in a comfortable houses. We live comfortable life, drive comfortable car. But that does not mean that we take upon ways and means of cheating others. In any ways, Smileys do not do that. They are known in the world for honest businessmen. The way we learn from our Prophet example, right? He was a tradesman, he was a businessman, and he was called Amin and Sadiq, loyal and honest. That is the, roadmap for us. That is the role model for us to follow, that we have to be always being honest. Not easy in this world because everybody is cheating around us. But that does not give us the right of passage that we have to cheat too because others are cheating. That is not the talim of Imam. Imam is teaching us very clearly that we have to be very careful the way we do len den. How are we dealing with the money? Do not give opportunity to Shaitan to deceive us. Chetri jai, meaning deceive us, right? Je koi ઉછીના લીધા પૈસા ખાઈ જાય અને પાછા ના આપે તો તેઓ મોટા ગુના છે. પણ જેની પાસે તે ઉછીના લીધા હોય અને તે માફ કરે તો માફ થાય. તમે જમાત પોતપોતામાં ઉછીના પૈસા લ્યો અને પાછા ના આપી શકો તો માફ કરાવજો. એવી રીતે એકબીજામાં બક્ષાવજો. Very, very important. Imam is actually again emphasizing that within yourselves, within a Jamaat, if you have borrowed money from each other, and if you don't return, that is a sin. And if you have taken money and for some reasons you are not able to return it, right? You borrowed money for business and business flop, did not work, and you did not earn anything. Now you have no means and ways to return that money. Then you have to go to that person, tell them, and seek their forgiveness. Remember, we have learned Imam's insaf, his justice. If we are sinning for people, we are sinning with people here, we have to ask their forgiveness. We cannot ask Imam to forgive us because we have not committed a sin against Imam. We have hurt our Jamaati member, our Ismaili brother or sister. We have to seek forgiveness from them. So if someone says, no, I will remember Imam and I believe in Imam and I do what, follow Faramis, sorry, you don't even understand the Farmans. If you are hurting a Jama'ati member by, deceiving them, you had made a promise, you had given the commitment, and now you are breaking your promise or your loyalty or your commitment, then you are committing sins. And you have to go to that person to seek forgiveness. Imam will not forgive, your sins. So we have to really be very careful and understand this aspect, that how sinning can be so subtle in the sense that we don't even realize, because we are shedding tears in the court of Imam, seeking forgiveness, and not realizing that Imam has given us the tali in his Farman, that there is no justice for me to forgive for the sins which you have done against people. You have to go to that person and ask forgiveness. Very, very difficult to do. But that is the expectations and talim of Imam. So Imam is saying that you have to go to that person, either return the money or seek forgiveness from that individual. હંમેશા ખુદાની રહેમત માટે શુકર કરજો. ખુદાના શુકરાના કરશો તો ખુદા તમને વધુ દેશે. ખુદા તાલા જેને માલ આપે તો તે શુકર માંગે, આથી ખુદાવન તાલા તેને વધારે દેશે. Now Imam is again in this paragraph is teaching us very important lesson, and that is of shukr. Rahmat, his mercy, and his shukr. Rahma and shukr. Two very, very important principles, I would say, in our tariqah. Imam is Rahman and Rahim, and right now what we are learning, it is his rahmat that he has taught us this, and we are able to see through ourselves and identify where and when we have sinned and have we sought the forgiveness. We have to always seek forgiveness for our sins, have to keep a critical eye on ourselves and seek forgiveness from those who we have deceived or hurt in any ways. Imam is saying that do believe in the rahmat of Imam. Imam is very merciful. In order for us to activate Imam's rahmat for us, we have to do shukr. Now, this is a very important point for us to understand. Many times we forget, because when we are going through some tests, physical illnesses, financial troubles, or relationship problems, whatever issues we are going through, we are seeking Imam's rahmat, Imam's mercy, and complaining constantly that, Mawla, this is my life, this is what is going on, this is constantly whining about things that, oh, this hurt and that hurts and this and that. For a moment, it is not the right way. For a moment, it is not the right way. I'm not saying that the moment is not hurting. No, moment is in pain. But for a moment, to be a moment to understand how to activate his mercy, moment does not complain. Moment does not complain. Moment says, shukr. Shukr, Mola. Are you not sick? Are you not in pain? Yes, I am. Shukr, Mola. How strange is that? Total shift of attitude and, behavior. Total, completely. We are in pain, we are in difficulties, and we are sharing our difficulties if we need to share. But we are grateful to Mola. It is not to complain when we are saying. It is not to complain, but to express our sorrows and difficulties, because it helps to share. So you share with the intention of sharing, and you are shukr guzar. We do have this saying that, right, get off your chest. So it is okay to share. Please do not misunderstand that there are times sharing is important, because when we share, we hear ourselves and we are able to tackle or find solution to our issues, or seek somebody's advice. When we are sharing, somebody might say, oh, I know a way to get some help for you. Would you like it? That's how we offer our help. And when they say yes, we offer the help. Meaning sharing is okay, but with the intention of sharing or seeking help, with the attitude of shukrana. With the attitude of shukrana. When we constantly continue to say shukr, his rahmat comes. And his rahmat is not according to our expectations. What would be our expectations? If I am in pain, and physical health problems, it would go away. No, that is not his mercy. Because we have to really understand how his mercy works. Imam has said that there are tests which he sends upon our life, right? Why does he send tests? First, to see us. Are we truly obedient to Imam? Are we truly grateful to Imam? Or as soon as he sends us the difficulty, we start complaining that where is your mercy? And we forget about the mercy we have. Our life, our breath is a mercy. Having intellect and having, being alive is his mercy. What if there's a physical health problem? So when we have to really be very careful and understand that his mercy is beyond even our understanding. If we are living in this, comfortable house, it's his mercy. We are living in a country where there is safe and security, it is his mercy. We have beautiful weather changing, flower blooming in spring, it is his mercy. All is his mercy. When we see the daylight, sun is rising, it is his mercy because sun is being obedient to Imam. So we have to realize that his mercy is not limited. It is our intellect which is limited. When we look into things with limited intellect, we complain. When we complain, we actually close the doors to his mercy. So it is very important to understand that if we want his mercy to continue to be bestowed upon us, we have to learn to be shukr guzar, regardless of what pain and sorrows and difficulties we are in. Another Farman Imam says that majority of the time, the difficulties we have, it is due to us, like physical health problems because of our, unhealthy lifestyles. So not going into that direction, but just to help us understand that very many times it is us who bring problems or difficulties on our being. However, there are tests which Imam also sends. And whatever is the reason, our attitude as those mu'mineen who want to elevate and come close to the nur of Imam, we always stay in gratitude. Always stay in gratitude. Imam is saying here, Khuda na shukrana karso, to Khuda tamne vadhu deshe. If you want increase in his rahmah, you got to be in gratitude. You have to always be shukr guzar. Khuda Tala jene maal ape to te shukr mange, ati Khudavan Tala vadhare dese. Here Imam is saying that those who are being blessed with mal, earning, if you are in gratitude, he will give you more. Why did he say that? When people are not in gratitude, when they don't earn according to their expectations, meaning they were hoping to make so much good money in business, but it did not happen, they earned less. Do they start complaining, oh, I worked hard, I did this and I did do that, and despite all the hard work I did, I didn't earn money, Mawla? Why? When we talk like that, think like that, and when we ask Imam why, we are saying, I don't even want to say it, we are asking Imam why. Why question is not good for a moment. We say, I am sure, Mawla, there is hikmah. It is your will, there is wisdom, you know the best for me. I accept, I am shukr guzar. I would love it that you would increase in my mal. I would be grateful, Mawla. If it is not there, I am going to be shukr guzar. That has to be the attitude. Let it be physical earning, spiritual earning, or intellectual earning. We have to be in gratitude. When we are in gratitude, automatically it will increase. Imam does not give it to unworthy. Those who are worthy, they will receive it. Now, when I say worthy, do not look into this word only in terms of physical means, because we see very many, deceiving people have a lot of money in this world, but they don't realize that it is a test upon them. And when they don't realize, they constantly continue to fail the test. And when somebody fails the test, meaning what? They have no earning for hereafter. But for mu'mineen, all their attention and focus is to earn for hereafter. Tomorrow when we go to him, we have our amal, our good deeds speaking for us, defending us. So we get the house next to Imam, not far from him. We want to be with Imam. So Mu'min is very different. His approach, his attitude is very different in case of all the problems and trials and tribulations of the world. Here we can also talk about that, in Quran it talks about that God tests us from 5 different ways. And as I've been mentioning, that there is a whole lecture on test and patience and shukrguzari. All these concepts are covered in great detail. I would recommend friends who would like to learn about this in detail, please do ask admins of the group to help you with those related lectures. इंसान खुदानी बंदगी सारी रीते करे तो खुदा तेने दुनियाમાં સારું બદલું આપે અને તેની જબાન અને કરામત સારી ચાલે. Here Imam is talking about human, not a moment. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's farmans are so beautiful that Imam has explained all these terms. Whenever Imam has used word insan, somewhere else in this book only Imam has explained that insan is the one who is aware of 2 paths. One path of being animal and other path of elevation to become an angel. So when Imam says insan, it is about a human who is conscious, who is mindful, who is awake. When a human does the bandagi in a right way, in a proper way, then Khuda Ta'ala returns him in this physical world. And Imam says that his physical life will be blessed. Now, why are we just saying physical life? Because humans, the whole humanity are human, but among the whole humanity, those who are conscious and alive, smileys or non-smileys, because Imam has 2 titles, Imam Nas, Imam al-Muttaqin. Imam is the Imam of humanity as well as of righteous. And being righteous, being smileys, we call ourselves as righteous because we are followers of Imam. However, there are criteria to be called righteous. If we don't meet that criteria, we are not completely in this circle. So, Imam al-Nas and Imam al-Muttaqin. Imam is saying that those who are humans, those meaning conscious, awake, alert, they are not sleeping or blind. When they do the bandagi in a way it has to be done. Remember the word ibadat and bandagi. It is not just alluding to Nurani time. Ibadat includes how are we doing our businesses. Ibadat includes all what we do actually, because for a moment his earning, his business is also ibadat. So everything comes into the category of ibadat. So do remember all these points to be able to truly understand the deeper meaning which are in this farman. So insan is the human who does ibadat bandagi properly, the way it is ought to be done. They will benefit in dunya. They will benefit in dunya. They will see good life and prosperity. Not mu'min insan. Why insan here? So we have to really understand that those who are good people in this world, ethical people in this world, and they pray and they seek prosperity. Imam gives them prosperity because they are good human beings. Imam gives them prosperity and they flourish in this world. सारी दुनियाની લિજ્જતથી દૂર રહે એવો રોજો રાખે તો બાતની આંખ અને કાન છે તે ખુલે. Now Imam immediately, knowing that we will be limiting ourselves to humans, insan, Imam is teaching us a next level. Now from that insan, everybody is human. But then there are those, number one, we talked about prosperity in the physical world. But then there are those who seek elevation to become an angel or go further, higher than that. So for them, Imam is saying that those who keep themselves away from the desires of the world, literally completely distancing themselves from the desire of the world. Meaning what? Killing the carnal soul. Because when we live in the physical world, the carnal soul is so powerful that it always wants instant gratification. And we constantly follow because it is so strong and powerful. Once, when somebody becomes insan, meaning they are not anymore behaving like animals, living mindlessly, they are mindful, they are conscious. So they make intention, they make choices and do the way they've been learning and growing to do in the right way. When that's how a moment is changing himself by becoming first human, killing the carnal soul, realizing that there is a powerful animalistic being within me, this beast within me, and that beast has to be tamed and controlled, then only one can be human. When that human is conscious, then Imam is teaching that protect yourself from the desires of the worldly things. Now, when we read this, Farman specifically, there are very many Jama'ati members who feel that they have to become monks, meaning, do not live in the world, do not enjoy the world. Imam has said that. Imam has always said that we live in the world, but not being in the world. How does that happen? That's very confusing. And it is, meaning that it takes practice. It takes practice that we live in this world and we live in comfortable houses, have cars, and wear good clothes, but our heart is not within those things. Our heart is always with Imam. Our dhyan, our intention, our attention is not on these things. Again, in the beginning, it is very difficult. But the more we become alert and conscious, why am I doing this? Why am I desiring this? In fact, when we are beginning to walk on this path and we are trying to identify what is my need and what is my desire, in the beginning, it is advised that you have to become so strict with your carnal soul that whatever it desires, you do against it. What? Yes, you heard me correct. If your carnal soul asks, simple as that, I want to eat this food. No, how about I starve? How about I starve? Let's not eat this meal. Very beautiful feast is planned for you. I'm going to skip. I'm not going to eat it. What do? Oh, I will not attend this lunch party or this, I will have no food in the house, so I'm not enticed to eat the food. No, that is not the test. The test is it is in front of you and you don't eat. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. At all, it is not easy. But are we able to do that? Let me take a nap. I feel tired. I will not take the nap. I will sit down and do zikr. Literally doing things against what the carnal soul asks. Because the way carnal soul has been described in Ginans and in Farmans, it is like very powerful beast. It is not easy to tame the carnal soul or control the carnal soul, to go against it. So when we are trying to become those humans who live life intentionally and who want to be mindful all the time, in the beginning, we have to go against the carnal soul completely. So it's a time period where we are working very hard to tame this beast. It is not easy, but it is doable. It is not impossible. Everything is possible with Imam. In the beginning, it is very much that we will fail, constantly failing and failing and failing. But with every failure, there will be more courage, more learning to go to the next step, to go to the next step. If we stood by our carnal soul for a minute, tomorrow, after failing first time, we'll stood by 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So it is a very hard struggle. Killing carnal soul is not an easy task. It takes years of hard work, conscientious efforts. Even when you think that you have overcome, it changes its face and it comes in from different direction. So it is full of deception and strong power. To be able to kill the carnal soul, we have been taught methods of killing carnal soul. And the ways and means are 3 very important ways. Number 1, eat less, sleep less, speak less. If we are able to consciously follow these 3 directions, we will be able to weaken the carnal soul. We will be able to weaken the carnal soul. If we do that, then other things, when it comes as a deception, we will have this wisdom this mindfulness in us, that we will be able to recognize the deception. Because deception comes in a way as it is our need. But what happens when we eat full belly, right? When we eat a lot of meat products as well, animal soul, right? All it is coming in our being. And we become what we eat. So we have to be very careful that we are not becoming what we eat. In order to not do that, easiest approach is to eat less. When we eat less, there's constant level of hunger in us, which we are fighting. When we are fighting, we are part of the Lashkar and army. And when we are army, we are fighting. When we are fighting, we are Farman Barda. There has to be constant fight within us. Fight to remember him, to do the zikr, fight with our carnal soul, all that actually part of our fight with carnal soul to overpower or tame this animalistic soul within us so it can become rational soul. Rational soul is the human soul. If we don't have a rational soul being the main soul in us, meaning that it is animal soul, how can it go elevate after rational soul to other souls, higher souls? It cannot, because we are still struggling between the animal soul and the rational soul. So it is very, very important that when Imam says that when you live in this world, you have to be away from all the desires of the world. We live in the world, we will have desires. In the beginning, those desires have to be killed, and then we live in the world, wear good clothes, live in a good house, but our heart is not in it. It comes with years of practice and hard work. It is not an easy task to kill the carnal soul. Then Imam is saying, if you do that, then your inner senses will open up. Batni aankh ane kaan che te khule. Your internal ears or your internal eyes, your batni eyes and ears will open up. Imagine what will happen when our batni eyes are open up. We will be seeing more than this world. We will be hearing other sounds other than this world. Meaning, sounds of angels, singing, doing zikr. Very many beautiful things. Being able to see more than the worldly people see. Do we not want that? We do want that. What is the key? Key is to kill the carnal soul. Is it easy? Not at all. Then Imam says, इंसान પાસે આટલી કુદરત નથી કે માણસને પેદા કરી શકે, પણ એવી રીતે જોવું કે જેથી ખુદાના ભેદ અને કેરામતના ની ખબર પડે. Now, it is so interesting that how Imam is teaching us. Sometimes it feels like that Imam is constantly changing the topic, constantly. But in reality, he is not. There is a very powerful link in all these paragraphs. And that's why this, whoever has transliterated it, the way they've made this paragraph, because when we read it, it seems completely different point. Now, in this paragraph, Imam is saying that it is not in humans' power that they can have, give birth to the next generation, have children. Having our family, procreation. Imam is saying it is not in the ability of a human to create another being. How easy we take pregnancy, how easy we take childbirth, children and family, natural. You are grown, now you have to get married and you will have children. Very, obvious and evident path for any youngsters. Do we ever realize that how powerful miracle happens when somebody becomes pregnant and then they deliver a healthy, normal child? Even if it is not healthy, it is a miracle of Imam. So Imam is again drawing our attention to this physical birth of the child. And then Imam is saying that look at this miracle in a way that you will see his secrets. Child being born, how can it be a secret? We look at animals delivers too. Humans deliver too. So what is the big deal? It is happening every day, every minute, every second. But Imam is telling us that it is a miracle. Question is, do we see it as a miracle? Now, those who, have been together, married, and they are not having children, for them it will be something, we are not having children. So when they become pregnant, when they have children, they are like very, valuing it. But think of back home, or, 50 years ago, 30 years ago, how children were being born with mindlessly, right? You're married, you're having children, that's the norm of the way. This is how you do it. But the more and more, the way we see the world is changing, people are realizing that it is not easy to bring children in the world. Still, majority do it as if animals are doing. Minority we are talking about. So yes, this is a miracle which happens to animals and it happens to humans. Imam mentioning this in Farman and saying, insan paase. Remember, insan is someone who is mindful. And Imam is talking about insan, that he or she, human, has to realize that they don't have power. They don't have this power or ability to create. But if they were to look at the secrets of Imam, of this creation, they will be able to know his miracles. Now here, there is more what we are reading and talking about. Look at the paragraph higher above this. Imam mentioned that if we were to protect ourselves from the worldly desires, we will have this batni ear and eyes opening up. It is in relationship to the batni eyes and batni ears. Becoming pregnant or creating is not only limited to physical being, it is related to spiritual being as well. In our spirituality, when we are walking on the path of ruhaniyat, of zikr ibadat, living life with intention, mindfully, when we do zikr ibadat, within our being, Imam teaches us more zikr. We do have, I'm sure we have heard, that there are Jama'at who were not given Isma Azam, but they were elevated spiritually. How? Because in their batin, they were given the names of Imam, and they were following the farmans which were given in their heart. They were reciting the names and elevating themselves in spirituality. When we have in our being, in our ruhaniyat, given a word, Isme Azam, it is like Imam's child. Imam has mentioned that in his Baitul Khayal Farman, that when I give you a word, Isme Azam, you have to take care of it, nourish it, and nurture it to make it a young adult. A word becoming a young adult, how? There are very many secrets in these, vocabulary which Imam uses, the words Imam uses. And we have to always be reflecting on it to realize what does it mean. So first we talked about the physical miracle and we realize, we understand, if somebody has unhealthy child, they would crave and cry for a healthy child being born. Those who do not have children, they will say anything, but I want to have a child. So those, when they are deprived, they value this miracle, a physical miracle, but they value it. Those who are not deprived, they take it for granted, right? But we are talking about insan here, meaning those who are consciously living. They are not taking things for granted. They are very vigilant and seeing all the rahmat of Imam. Their physical eyes are open with the knowledge. With akal, they see everything. But here, when Imam is speaking about batni eyes and ears being opened up, and then moving to having a childbirth being a miracle, it is when a moment's batni eyes and batni ears open up, they are able to see in their ruhaniyat how Imam progresses them. When they realize with ilm o amal, remember it is always with ibadat and ilm that they will be able to understand these miracles which are happening in their batin. When a shabd, a word is given, it has to be nurtured in a way that it is a child. A human child needs a lot of care. If we were to compare it with animal children, they don't need that much care. We look at, horse delivering, a baby horse. immediately standing up in few minutes and will find his way to mom and start feeding. There'll be no hand guiding. A human child has to be guided for everything. Human child will cry and not be able to reach out and do anything. It needs a lot of care and nurturing. A mother dedicates her life to nurturing of that child, then that child becomes nourished and then starts crawling and then so on, right? So when we take this example of Shabd, a word, it is a word, it is a blessed word, either given physically by Imam or spiritually in the batin. But this word needs a lot of nurturing. It is a close lock. And that lock has to be unlocked. How? By nurturing, by taking care of it. And Imam gives example of it as a child. So if somebody in their batin receives the word, it is as if they became pregnant. It is a mercy, it is a miracle. And when they nurture that word in their batin, because their batini eyes and ears are opened up, they are able to understand things. When they nurture it, they will be able to realize the miracle of Imam. There are so many secrets hidden in it, so many secrets. In the Batni ilm, one can learn and understand that what Imam is teaching us here. Next paragraph says, Hazrat Amirul Mominin અને પેગમ્બરોએ ફરમાવ્યું છે કે સલમાન ફારસ અહેલે બેતને દરજે છે. પહેલા સલમાન કાફર હતો, પછી દુનિયામાં પેગમ્બર પરેઝગારી કરી અને દુનિયાના સવાદથી દૂર રહ્યો. ત્યારે જ ખુદા તાલાએ તેને અબુ સહર થી બગદાદ સુધીની હુકુમત બક્ષી. Very interestingly, another paragraph, totally changing the subject. Now moving to a live example of Salman Farsi. Historical example, but a live example, that there was a person who began his journey as kafir, not even righteous, not even smiling, but kafir, unbeliever. Here Imam was talking about pregnancy, delivering, miracles, all that, and now moving to this example. Do we see the links here? That Salman Faris, who was kafir, unbeliever, but what did he do? Parhezgari. Whatever was the hukum of Paigambar and Imam, he followed. Hazrat Amirul Mominin ane Paigambare farmaવ્યું છે કે Imam is referring to both these personalities. That Salman Farsi elevated himself to become part of Ahle Bayt, Nurani family. Beginning the journey being kafir, aren't we better? We are born smileys, alhamdulillah. But have we done the parhezgari, the purity as Salman Farsi did? He started his journey as Zoroastrian, and through long travel, trials and tribulations, never quitting, never giving up, he reaches to the Prophet. And he follows the Faramids. What happens to him? Imam is saying that what did he do? When he reached Prophet Muhammad and Imam, he became Farman Bardar. He realized that he had to kill his carnal soul. What did he do? Parhezgari kari ane duniana sawadthi dur rahi. He kept himself away from the worldly desires. Tyare જ, then only, Khuda Ta'alaએ તેને Abu Sahar થી Baghdad સુધીની હુકુમત બક્ષી. Very, very interestingly, we are not reading here that he became an angel or he became a nur or light. He became a governor, a khalifa of a place. Now that does not make sense. We were thinking if we will have Batni eyes, ears opened up, we will understand the miracles of Imam and we will elevate in our Ruhaniyat. But Imam gives us example of Salman Farsi, and then he gives us this glad tiding which he received when he kept himself away from the worldly desire, that he became the governor or hakim, of this place, from Abu Sahar to Baghdad till Iran. How? How can this be a reward? Are we referring to physical reward here? When you look into the Salman Farsi story, and it is very, easily accessible, and I'm sure you all have heard about him, so I'm not going into detail of Salman Farsi's story, but we do not see him becoming a governor as per se. He does become governor after Prophet Muhammad's passing away. I think a Khalifa Abbas makes him a governor of some place, but not till Baghdad, not the way Imam is telling us here. But look at Imam's Farman here. He says that he became one with Ahl Bayt. So we see, part of Nurani family. And then Imam says that he became this governor. So there is a concept of Khilafat which is mentioned in Quran. And we will talk about this, inshallah, next time. Because Khilafat in itself is a big concept. But just those who are really, really very interested, I would give you a Quranic reference, 24:55. Review that verse. And then share your questions when you review it. Whatever your thoughts are, share your questions and your feedback, your thoughts, reflections. And then inshallah, we will talk about it in the next class because it's a bigger concept. And Imam talks about it in this Farman furthermore. So we will wait for that area when Imam talks about it, and then we'll combinedly talk about the concept of Khilafat, which is given to Mu'min, and Salih. So what I'm saying, that when Imam says there are secrets, in his miracles, there are secrets after secrets. And only those who walk on this path of ilm or amal, first through ilmul yaqeen level, through the knowledge, we will be able to understand, reading Quran, Ginan, Farman, that how this concept of khilafat for mu'mineen is being given. And then, when we truly purify ourselves, become parhezgar, walk on the path of purity, we will be able to enter into anul yaqeen, having the batni eyes opened up, to be able to see all these miracles within our being. All this is possible with Imam. Nothing is impossible with Imam. Everything is possible. We have to remember that. So if everything is possible, all what we are studying, learning, realizing, everything is possible with Imam. There are criteria. If we fulfill those criteria, it is 100% it will happen. Remember, we started this Farman with trials and tribulations. There are tests, and we have to pass the tests to be able to come to that level where we are able to see things, see his secrets, understand the hikmah, the wisdom he shares. Until we don't pass the test in the physical world. How? By walking on the path of being Amin and Sadiq, honesty, loyalty, taqwa. All these are very crucial, important aspects. When we don't do that and we follow our carnal soul, at whatever level we follow our carnal soul, we will not be able to attain all the secrets of Imam, which is actually for Mu'minins. Remember when Prophet Muhammad was asked, why did God created this world? Why all the sorrows and pains and difficulties? What was the objective? Answer was that he is the hidden treasure and he wanted to be found. He is Ganje Makhfi, hidden treasure, Ganje Makhfi. He is hidden for those who do not find him. He is not hidden from those who find him. Those who seek shall find. He wanted to be found. He wants to be found. When we find him through knowledge, then he helps us elevate in our batin. Then we are able to see his secrets. When we are able to see his secrets, we'll understand his farmans, his ginans, his Quran, and also receive glad tidings. Beautiful glad tidings. Salman Farsi becoming Ahl Bayt. Tell me, how many of us would desire that? become one with Imam's Nurani family? It is possible for Mu'min. This is what Imam is teaching in this one. We all are his Ruhani children. Mullah says, my beloved spiritual children. But we are talking about not Ruhani family, Nurani family. So there's a step higher than that. Everything is in Darja. Doors are open for Mu'mineen who fulfill the criteria. And not only that, he made Salman Farsi part of Ahl Bayt, but he made him Khalifa, gave him Khilafat as well. Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah. So there's a lot to reflect, and I hope that you'll continue to reflect and share your questions. And we'll continue this beautiful journey, inshallah, next week. Thank you. Ji.
Subhanallah. Shukranillah, alhamdulillah. Thank you, Niamat Saiba, once again for this deep understanding of Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman. Obviously, Hazrat, I'm saying Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah was talking about taqwa, but also this deeper explanation of the Ismi Azam that you provided, and relating it to a baby and how it needs to be nurtured for it to actually grow within us. That was quite amazing, something new for me. Friends, if you have any questions or comments, please come forward.
Sorry, Niamat Saiba, when you said about how, Ismi Azam is like your baby to be nurtured, but now I'm understanding Shah Karim in 2018 when he says, to protect it, to look after Ismi, your what you call, he talks about, I don't know exactly the words, remember, but Mola Bapa says, give it, look after, give your soul affection, protection. And at that time I was thinking, I cannot see the soul. And Mola Bapa is telling me to look after it, give it affection, protection. So, and here Sultan Mama Shah in a different way is telling the same things. But this was a very, very powerful farman. And there are so many concepts of Akhi Dunyani, Liza Tidur Revanu, Taqwa. There was so much. Thank you so much for enlightening us, Okay. So we have to reflect now.
We have to reflect. So you are referring to the Farman which we discussed in the Bethul Khayal Farman on Tuesday, Gujarati session. And we talked about protection. Imam uses the word protection. So yes, I remember that Farman now. That Imam does mention that we have to protect and our soul. And we had mentioned that in that context, but the understanding becomes clear with this Farman. So yes, it's very beautiful. When we study one Farman and then we study Quran or Ginan, it validates everything and it helps us to open up our intellect. That is why we have to study all these sources to get help from all different sources to be able to make a whole picture out of it. For some people, different sources help them. When we are able to see the whole picture, then there is true love in our heart because we understand it at a higher level. Because when I heard you, Yasmin, I felt there is so much more within you which you could not express. And I can tell that there is more understanding in your being than the words coming out. And that is what exactly happens. That when you are understanding all these concepts from different sources, you understand it, but you find it difficult to express it. And it is very normal in the beginning, that's what it happens. But you find that joy in your being, that aha, I understand, I see, that you experience constant aha moments in your being. That is the beauty when you consistently learn and understand and reflect all the sources which Imam has given us to study, to nourish our intellect. Farman, Quran, Ginan, books of our Buzurgwari Deen, when we study all these material, we are able to really nourish our intellect and see the whole beautiful picture, motivating us, elevating us. Alhamdulillah.
Another question which I always asked myself, but I never understood. I still haven't understood that well when Sultan Muhammad Shah says કે ઇન્સાનમાં એટલી તાકાત નથી કે બીજા ઇન્સાનને પેદા કરે, but એની કરામત ને રહેમત જોઈ. So I still am not understanding here that well, you know. I always wanted to know exactly what Mullah Bapa here is saying.
So physically, we understand. I think it is hard physically because it happens in front of us so easily that children are being born, that we are not seeing the miracles, right? That's what you are saying, that it is hard for you to be able to see that how, when the child is born, how is it a miracle? Because we take it for granted. Physically, it's normal, you know. But in reality, it is not normal to have a child being born. It is not physically even. I am in medical profession. There are so many things which can go wrong. So many things which can go wrong. So when you have the knowledge, you realize that somebody having a healthy, beautiful child, you are grateful to Imam that thank God that there are thousands and thousands ways things could have gone wrong and nothing went wrong. Shukr Mawla. So physically also, it requires knowledge of how the child is being delivered, knowledge of science, physical sciences, to be in gratitude that do not take this for granted. Every child being born, it is a huge miracle, because I can tell you there are so many diseases and so many pathways which can go wrong. But we are studying Farman. We are not in a class of physical sciences. It is a class of spiritual sciences, because we are learning about spirituality. And here, that is why, when you say you don't understand that, it is requiring us to reflect. When Imam is referring to child, we have understood from the Baitul Khayal Faramin of Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah that when he talks about child, he alludes it to Isme Azam, Shabd. That in Baitul Khayal Faraman, he says that when I give you the word, it is as if I have given you my own child, my nur to you. So the allegory he has used of child, and why we continue to look into physical world, because that's what we can see. So if you are having hard time to see the physical child being born as a miracle, then probably, very humbly, have you ever visited a medical floor or a place where disabled childs are kept, or where, school for deaf and dumb children? Have you ever visited that? I would encourage people who don't see the miracle of having a normal child versus children who are born handicapped, special children, or visit those families and then see their pains and difficulties, and their life revolves around them. And how easy we got if we had normal children. Because we don't know. When we don't know, we are blind. So how do we educate ourselves? When you have that physical knowledge, it will help you understand that how this Isme Azam, when we say Ya Ali, it is a Imam's child. Imam gives it to us. Why do we see Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Faramin that sit properly, concentrate, do not fall asleep? Why being so strict? Because Jama'at did not have education. Today, Hazir Imam, talks about very differently in Baitul Khayal Farman, but he's educating us as well. But he expects us that we are knowledgeable, educated, so we will understand. We will read Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman and build on it by reading Hazir Imam's Farman to be able to realize what does Baitul Khayal mean. Isme Azam is like a child. Imam gives it to us. And the way I was referring to the example that when a human child is born, mom has to do everything for a child. He cannot even find his own ways to his food. He cannot. Everything has to be taught. Meaning nurturing care, like mom dedicates her life to the child and she falls short. She gets tired, so she gets help from the father and the grandparents and so many others. It takes a village to take care of a child because it is so hard. Meaning, when we are talking about Isme Azam, our being, when we are looking at ourselves, we think of ourselves as one. We are not one. I hope you all heard the lecture on What is Soul on Saturday, where I spoke about a world of particles within our being, world of souls within our being. So do realize that we see ourselves as one, but we are not one. We have trillions of souls within us. And how do we realize those souls? We have to listen to that lecture. But if we were to realize those souls at the level of physical cells, at the level of spiritual, and then at the level of intellectual, our being is at 3 levels. How are we taking care of that shabd, that child, from all these 3 levels? When we have trillions of souls within us sleeping. So there is so much more to realize and understand to nurture that child who's completely dependent on us as human child. It is a word, it is a key, but it won't work. It won't work until it is activated, until that child is being nurtured to be growing to a healthy adult. Then only we will witness the miracles of Imam. Then only the Batni ears and eyes will open up. All that will happen when we are in knowledge to realize that it is not just in yali, 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 yali. It is more than doing yali, yali, yali. Realizing the value of that shabd, understanding our being, which is at 3 levels with trillions of souls, activating them to take care of that child, to nurture, to grow, to nourish, to become at that level where we can benefit. What happens? A child who grows up, adult children, what do? They take care of their older parents. They take care of their parents and, help them. Great-grandchildren, and I am seeing example in my mind, taking care of grandparents, all the children and children and children, all that, why it is being done in the physical world, because when we have this line, what do? They take care of their senior family members. Think of it, apply that to your Ismi-Azam. We are talking about one shabd or more than one. Imam's miracles are very many. We have to reflect a lot to be able to understand that when the child is grown adult, what will happen? There'll be more children. There'll be more growth. There'll be more progress, more elevation. Whatever we see in the physical world are signs. Chapter 41, verse 53. That Khuda Ta'ala sends signs for us in the physical universe and our internal universe. If we don't understand the signs which are outside, Mullah Hazim has said that you need education to understand the creation of Allah, meaning the signs which are in the creation outside. When we understand the creation of Allah outside, we will be able to understand what is inside. So there's a lot more to study and reflect to be able to connect the dots, to be able to see the whole picture. But I've given enough clues for those who are thinkers, who will reflect, will be able to understand more. Ji.
Subhanallah. Thank you for this wonderful explanation of grandparents looking after the grandchildren and relating that back to the Ismi-Azam to let us know that in fact one Ismi-Azam is not going to be sufficient. It will be multiple Ismi-Azams that we will have to look after and nurture as such. Friends, any other questions or comments?
Yes, Yali Madad. I have a question. If someone is practicing her or his Ismi-Azam irregular, what's going to happen?
Nothing, it's good. You can do that. Ismi-Azam is your child. And if you are reciting your Ismi-Azam all the time, it's a good practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
no, but if someone is not practicing properly, so what's going to happen with them?
What do you mean by not properly?
I mean, so I know someone is, some days is waking up, some days is not waking up. So it's mean not practicing properly.
Yeah. So if they're irregular, definitely there'll be no benefit, right? Very clearly, Imam has given direction that we have to be consistent, very regular. So they are doing the lip service very humbly, forgive me. What you are saying, it is actually somebody does do the lip service and they think they are reciting the Ismail Azam. It doesn't help. There are very clear-cut criteria which we have to follow to get the benefit. Yes, they are practicing, but their practice is limited to physical practice, inconsistent practice. So it gives them strength because they are still with name of Imam. Do not, undermine that. It is a practice, but it will not take them to elevation, which we seek. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
So no more question, Kareem. Let's take us leave because there is so much more to reflect in today's session.
Thank you, Niamat Sahaba, for a wonderful session once again. And thank you, friends, for joining. Inshallah, see you next week.
Inshallah. Ya Ali
Ya Ali
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Yeah, Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, Niamat Sahaba.
Ya
God
Ali
bless
Madad.
you.
Amin. Ya Ali Madad.
So well explained. Thank you so much, Niamat Saiba.
Shukran,
Mola
alhamdulillah.
bless you always.
Amin, amin, amin. Thank you.
Ya Ali Madad, thank you.
Ya Ali Madad, Zaima. Thank
Ya Ali
you.
Madad. Ya Ali
Ya
Madad.
Ali
Ya Ali
Madad.
Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, Bye-bye.
Ya Ali
Ya Ali
Madad.
Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.